I'm with Alexis in front of Fuel for the bike weekend, and he has some work here from VillinCycleWorks.com. That's VILLIN cycleworks.com, and I just wanted to talk to him about his products. And so if you just want to go from there, how's it going?
It's going good.
Good.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I build custom steel frames, and right over here.
Okay, yeah, let's check it out.
The easiest way is just to look at it. These are good examples of some of the higher end bikes that we make right here.
And you're out of Gainesville, right?
We're out of Gainesville, Florida, that's right. And you can go to VillinCycleWorks.com to take a look at some of this stuff. This particular bike has got a copper inlay welded to the actual frame. It increases the structural integrity of it a little bit, but it's more aesthetic than anything else.
So these are kind of sculptural in a way, huh?
Yeah. If somebody wanted to get a bike, then we would size them up, measure them quite a bit like a tailor would measure someone for a suit. And then talk to them about what they want their bike to look like, or what they're going to use their bike for, and then turn around and do it.
When did you start the shop? How long have you been doing
I've been
it?
building frames since 2001 and had the company incorporated since 2002.
Okay, and you've been in Gainesville the whole time?
I've moved around quite a bit, but I moved back to Gainesville from San Francisco in 2000.
Oh, awesome. What do you have names for the models, or are they all custom?
The mountain bikes I do have a name for here and there, but really it doesn't make much sense for me to give them any particular names. They're just made by me, and that's easy enough.
Would you like to talk about any of the other frames, or would you just like people to check out the website?
No, I'll give you
And
kind of a
what's
tour
the
of
pricing
frames.
for the different?
Pricing, as it stands right now, there's two builders at Villin Cycleworks. There's myself and Joseph Marchiano. Joe Marchiano has been an assistant of mine for several years now, and he started to build his own frames. Now, in an effort to build his name up, we're selling his frames as Villins, but fairly inexpensively for a custom frame. There's a couple of them hanging up right here, and Joe's starting his frames out at $450.
Okay.
So that's the low end.
What would be that same frame from you? I guess you're
$2,000.
So you're like a master builder? Is that? Do you guys have titles and stuff like that?
I would consider myself a master builder.
Awesome.
There's the stuff that I do starting off at $2,000. You know, of course, I started off giving my bikes away back in 2001. And then, you know, gradually worked my way up. $100 here, $300, $500. And I don't think I want to go much higher on a basic frame than $2,000, because that's a lot of money to spend on a steel frame, on any kind of frame.
Right. And so you have like road bikers buying these, or
there's a lot. I do
what's
most styles of frames. I don't do any cyclocross because I don't race cyclocross. I don't ride cyclocross. And I've never been around that particular scene before.
So what kind of biking do you do personally? Are you a mountain biker, or?
I ride 3 different bikes consistently. I ride a single speed mountain bike, and that's probably the bike that I ride the most.
Okay.
And since we live in Gainesville, Florida, there's a big network of trails that we have over there that I use that particular bike for.
So it'd be something similar to this right here, or?
Something very similar to this. Not nearly as fancy as that. Mine's more like a basic bike.
Looks like this has some actually.
It's got wood in it. Yeah.
Some parts that are. These all look like they're almost retro. Like all the parts on here, are they old? Or are they new?
No,
or
I mean
they're newer parts.
Retro is a neat term.
Like
timeless.
Classic.
Yeah, classic, timeless.
But they're all new parts.
These are all brand new parts.
Brand new
None
parts.
of the parts on any of these bikes.
It's interesting. They kind of look older, but yeah, they're new.
Well, there's a certain style, I think. Like when you look at cars, manufacturers of cars. Some of the 50s and 60s cars, in my opinion, are the best looking cars that were made. And then after that, for several reasons, design just like took a dump in the tank. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what happened to bikes, but the same thing went on as far as that goes. And of course, racing, and then materials and manufacturing, and big manufacturers having to sell large numbers of bicycles, so they have to change this and that all the time. back in the 60s and the 70s was really kind of the peak of bicycle design. And I recognize that along with many other builders, especially steel builders. And try and keep that particular aesthetic in my bicycles.
Interesting.
Yeah, like if you were to watch the Tour de France from the 70s or the early 80s,
Right.
A road bike like that, in my opinion, it's just got so much more style than something from today.
Right.
The sloping top tube and tubes that are not round, stuff like that.
So there's an artistic eye to build in these as
Partly is aesthetic. You
aesthetic.
think about it. If I'm going to charge thousands and thousands of dollars for a bicycle, it should be unique with respect to its own aesthetics, while at the same time maintaining some kind of basic aesthetic that I would consider timeless.
So you're kind of blending the line between craft and art in a way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I would say that it's more craft than art.
But they do look sculptural, like they're interesting because they do kind of have a sculptural quality to them. Cool. Awesome.
Like if you look at this particular bike right here, these lugs have been hammered and then polished. Before they were ever assembled. And after that, we weld the whole thing, clean it, and then paint it around these. So this is bare metal. Now, as far as I know, no one else has done anything like this. They've definitely done polished lugs like this before, but that kind of stuff might fall under the pushing the envelope of design.
Great, and like
it doesn't
wood
necessarily affect.
right there. What is that?
This is a headset.
Is that real wood?
It is. It's a mahogany inlay, and it was done by this company, Cane Creek. They made 50 of these headsets for builders last year for the Portland Handmade Bike Show, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on it.
Oh, wow. So do you go to the different bike shows? Like, I guess
I really only go to one bike show that's a large bike show where custom builders go, and that's the North American Handmade Bike Show.
Where's that located?
This year it's in Indiana. Last year it was in Portland.
Portland, Bike City, capital of the world, right?
Yeah,
or the U.S.
we went there with a couple of our own bikes and didn't rent a car or anything like that. Got around awesome. Stayed for an extra week with our friend Jordan, and he took us all over the place.
Oh, that's great.
It is such a cool city to be able to ride your bike in.
Sweet.
Yeah, real good experience. Very, very different than Florida.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, let's just look at the last bike over here. This is actually my favorite bike.
What is that? What would you call that? Like a beach cruiser?
The type of frame is a mixty frame, but it was purchased by a gentleman for his wife. And they live on the beach. She said she wanted a beach cruiser, and white wall tires, and then that was pretty much his only stipulation. He gave me creative freedom to do the rest of it.
Wow.
So this is what the bike ended up looking like. And I build jigs for each bike to curve tubes. So this particular set of tubes right here is going to be unique to this bicycle. And then the next bicycle that I build will have different radiuses and whatnot for the tubes. But I was real happy about the way that this one turned out. And this is the first basket that I've made with wood.
Interesting.
And, I was happy with the way that turned out.
That's perfect for a 12-pack of beer.
That's what I'm talking about,
That's what it looks like.
2 12-packs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then after that, we paint them all. We paint them all in-house.
Wow.
And we've been painting for quite a while now. We've got a large repertoire of colors and finishes and whatnot to do. We've painted all of these bikes right here.
Wow.
And,
interesting.
So that's about it right there as far as what I want to say, unless you have any more questions.
No, that's good. I really appreciate your time. Thanks, man.
It's no problem.
Nice to meet you.
talking to you.
You too.